This summer, I read the book All the Pretty Horses by the American novelist Cormac McCarthy. This book was published in May of 1992. Three elements from Foster's book, How to Read Literature Like a Professor, that are displayed in McCarthy's book are the loss of innocence, quest, and symbolism. So for my first example of Foster's concept of loss of innocence, John Grady loses his innocence as he develops into his manhood. In the beginning of the book, John Grady is a young and innocent man who holds the belief that all people are good like the horses on his ranch. During this time, he knew nothing else besides the world of his pretty horses. He views them as friends and loyal companions. This leads him to believe that men are the same. After his long and hard journey throughout the west of Mexico, John's experiences teach him that life is not as simple as he thought, and that it can even be violent and cruel at times. His experience in the real world shows him that life is filled with hardship and disappointment. He loses his innocence of believing in a simple world. This is a very significant transition in Grady's life, and when he returns home after his long journey, the innocence of his boyhood is no longer. My second example is when John Grady loses his innocence after he spends time in the cruel prison. After John's affair is exposed and him and Rollins are arrested, they both spend a violent time in prison. John is accused of being a liar and a criminal and is badly battered by the other prisoners. This shows John that men are cruel and that life is unfair. His innocence of believing in a simple world begins to dissipate after his hard time in prison. Moving on, Foster's element of symbolism is displayed frequently throughout McCarthy's book. The most significant symbol is the horses. Each horse has its own character. For example, John's horse is very powerful, while Belvin's horse is more skittish and jumpy. But the horses are more than the characters' companions throughout the book. The horses symbolize the spirit and nature that John desires. He desires a simple world similar to his life on the ranch with his horses. It is suggested that horses have a soul like humans. Even though his love for horses imply his love for humans, he is not satisfied with humankind. He later learns to accept that the horses' pure souls are not similar for those of men. The last element is Foster's concept of a quest. Foster defines a quest of consisting of 5 things: a quester, a place to go, a stated reason to go, a challenge, and the real reason for the quest. John Grady takes a quest to Mexico after he believes there's nothing left for him in San Angelo. During his journey to Mexico, John experiences heartbreak and violence. I believe that John's real reason of leaving Texas was to discover if his dreams and ideals of the West can be truly fulfilled in reality. Another example of a quest is when John Grady goes to prison. John Grady and Rollins go to prison after they are accused of thefts and Grady's forbidden affair is exposed. While they are in prison, Grady and Rollins are treated with violence and have a hard time surviving. Even though they are taken to prison against their own will, I believe this quest was a lesson for John Grady in becoming a man and being exposed to the real and cruel world.